label and the character that they were put in. We came from kings and queens. So our first ancestor was jumping over slave ships because they were honorary. They didn't want to be subjected to just being slaves. And so once the psychological warfare came in and saying that we were second class citizens, your natural instinct is survival. So you want to survive. You want your brain wants the path of least resistance. So your brain is going to eventually find a way through your ego to say, you know what, you're right. I am an N word, but hey, I'm a bad N word, and I'm gonna own this N word. I'm gonna own this character. Even when they told us we were gangsters and gangbangers, we 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 um we kind of we kind of commercialized that image of ourselves and made a caricature of what our so-called enemy was telling us we were. And how did that impact our women? Well, they say the closest get the most. Women, well, I feel like women have always been there through these struggles, watching us struggle, watching us be subjected to all of this. And so now we had so little power to battle the our enemy that we turned our hate towards our woman. And the next thing we know, we call it no woman on this planet Earth woke up and called herself a B word. No woman. That was all us. We turned around and said, you know what, you're a B. And in my era, because I'm over 50, it was almost blasphemous to call a woman a B word, a sister a B word. She would go off, she would go crazy. Oh, you calling her a B word. Until after we start putting it in our music, we start putting it in our movies and entertainment, we start making it culturally acceptable for the woman to be a B word. After a while, the woman just did the same thing that the black man did, is they culturally accepted that word as a degradation word and a word of ownership to say, hey, you know what? I am a B. I'm a bad B. And this is one my B right here, and then and once you start accepting that fate, it's all downhill from there. Once you start accepting that you are less than, then you're going to get treated less than. So now when women wonder why they can't find a good man, is because the men have already put you low on the pedestal. They already look at you how white people have looked at us historically as second class citizens. They're not looking at you as a queen, as a partner, as someone that they're supposed to build life with. They're looking at you as someone that they can subjugate. They're looking at you they're dealing with you with their own traumas. And so now you have women mimicking the men and in the way that we kind of mimicked our enemies in terms of hatred, in terms of self-hate, and all of the things that we learned and picked up from our oppressors. And so that's what I meant by, um, that we're at fault. But I also want to add that every great black men that I've ever known and studied all had something in common. They all had a great black woman by their side, from Malcolm X to Martin Luther King to um, um, the brother that fought the apartheid. What's his name? And no, I'm sorry. In Africa, in South Africa.
Nelson Mandela. Who was in South Africa?
Yeah, Mandela.
Mandela.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm having a brain fart. Nelson Mandela, you look at his woman came to him and when he was in prison and this is the attribute of a queen. She came in prison at his weakest point and told him, he told her like, hey, you move on with your life. I'm not gonna denounce the apartheid. I'm not gonna fold for my enemy. So I might spend the rest of my life in here. And she told him, like, you weak right now. So the next time they see me, they're gonna see you. The next time I speak, they're gonna hear you. You know what I'm saying? That's a woman that is loyal. That's a woman that's saying, hey, you taught me how to be a queen. You taught me how to be a leader, and you stand for something. And so those are the type of women that our most powerful leaders and influential black men had by their side. And every single woman has the ability to be a Winnie Mandela. But we, as black men, don't cultivate the minds of our women to be a Winnie Mandela.
Wow.
Most of us don't stand for nothing. Most of us are acting in a way of ego. Most of us are we haven't dealt with our own traumas, so we can deal with the black woman, the way that we need to deal with her, to be that strength, to be that backbone. And so that's why we are in the condition that we in. How can a black man love the black woman when he don't love himself? We've been taught hatred since the moment that we came on this earth, not earth, but on this continent of North America.
So let me ask you a real crazy question, but a serious answer. So if that be the case, then how do we point fingers? Because everybody has their own story and their own reason for being who they are. So how do we point the finger back at self and kind of self correct? Because again, we can go back and forth. It's the woman, it's the man. No, 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 it's them. No, 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 it was that. How do we point the finger back at ourselves and then kind of self correct? What would you suggest?
Self-actualization and self-accountability. Once you take accountability for your actions, your life trajectory change. When you wake up and realize that you are responsible for where you at in life, or you're responsible for your sphere of influence, whether it's your children, your family, your woman, you're responsible for that. And once you start looking inward, because you have always been supplied the answer has always been you. We've led to believe that the answer is in these systems that was created to kind of like blindside the 85% of the world, right? It don't matter what system it is. None of those systems was developed to help you discover who you are. All the greatness is in you. Even the good, the bad, and the ugly is all within you. So looking within, having knowledge of self, knowing who you are. Remember, I told you earlier that my biggest enemy was me. My biggest fight was me. I fought myself. That's why in some cultures they teach you how to fast, how to discipline yourself, how to make your mind control the matter. And so once you start taking that accountability, then the answers will reveal themselves on how you can fix it. But I think that we are a long way from taking accountability. We can kind of diagnose the problem, but in terms of actually the actual working on our issues, like the brother said, he took cognitive behavior therapy when he came home. That kind of reboots you in a way, reboot your mindset to get out rid of the thinking that you once had, to kind of give you new and improved thinking. And that's what we have to do. We have to reboot ourselves. We have to get out all of that traditional thinking that we are less than, or even the ego part that we're better than everybody else. We have to look at ourselves for who we are, and then start doing the work to correct ourselves.
Wow. And I know Black Messiah, feel free to jump in at any time because I know you're here. If you just jump
Yeah,
in.
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here and I'm listening. Because like I'm just listening. I'm really just like I'm laid back and listening. I'm here though. I'm
Okay.
present.
Okay. So you know what? Again, this was just kind of off the top, and I just wanted some of the footage. It's the Cats Out show, and this is where we go in dark places, and even in dark places, it's time to shed some light so we can let cats out the bag. And I know that, to some people, when you say let the cat out the bag, you're thinking about a cat, a CAT. But this is a different type of cat. This is a KATS. This is about kingdom. And we're always seeking truth as it relates to kingdom building. Somebody got to do it because right now, it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on, but it's nothing that's new. The only thing that's different now is that we're in it. We are the ones right now in this time, in this season, in this moment. If history or her story is to be made, it's up to us. We can't look back because looking back, it's not going to take you nowhere. We can only look where we're at right now in the present and allow this present moment to be the gift that makes room for us. And then by doing that, by default, we will create a better tomorrow, even though it's today, for our children and our children's children. And I don't know about y'all, but I just made up in my mind that I will be responsible for doing my part today and standing on business so that tomorrow, when it get here, I've done my part, even though it'll still be today. I'm gonna drop the ball back over to you all. Anybody that want to pick it up, go in for the 3-point shot so we can end this game.
That's peace. We've always been we not always been, but for quite some time, we have been our worst enemy. When I mean us as a collective and individually. And so once we realize, and I kind of don't want to push back on you, but I kind of want to say that we do have to look at the past. We do have to look at it, not live in it, but we do have to take a look at the past, because if you don't know what's bad, how would you know what's good? How would you know when you're doing well if you don't know if you don't ever look back and compare a situation? You have to look at it. And even in science, you can go back and look at the past to determine how the future is. Like a lot of the science that we are currently living in right now is determining the weather, looks at past weather patterns, determine future weather patterns. And so we can prepare. So we can say, hey, we gotta wear this raincoat tomorrow, this umbrella. And that's all life is taking an observation of information and deciding what we're gonna do with the information. And that's it, whether it's past, present, or future. You can determine your future by the things that you're doing right now and how you respond to past occurrences. If somebody was walking around the corner for a week straight last week, and they were walking around that corner all the way up until yesterday, and they was getting hit upside their head, you can't be like, well, that was back then, I ain't gonna do that. Because of 95% of the people that walked around that corner got hit upside their head, you might take some caution.
But
you might proceed with caution.
But even then, you ain't looking at the past to change it. You in the future, and you in the present. I'm sorry, you in the present, and you just know. Okay, yeah, people been hit. It's been written, but I'm not gonna repeat the past, and I'm not gonna look back too much on the past because I'm in the race right now. And I've been a track star, and I probably can still run. I just ain't gonna run fast. But one of the things that even as we was taught as I'm running the race of life and on the track field is that when that baton is passed, you don't look back to see who behind you. You keep straight ahead because looking back can slow you down. As a matter of fact, looking back done kept people stuck because you so stuck back, looking over your life. My mama did this to me when I was 2. You got to get over that because you ain't 2 no more. You 72. You repeating the same story. Don't nobody want to hear you repeat the same story because guess what? History gonna repeat itself anyway. You don't have to do that. Your responsibility is to live in your present, not looking back because, like they said, you look back and become a pillar of salt. You look back and you dust because you stuck. And so, yeah, I can take some of the history, but it ain't nothing I can do to change it because the his story and the her story for me is now. That's all I'm saying.
Gotcha. Well, I agree. However, I also have to say that just randomly complaining about your life might not do some good. We have to take a more nuanced approach in how we heal, how we move forward. We may need therapy. We may need to talk to a professional. We might not need to talk to Joe Blow on the streets or get on the online and start complaining. And you know what I'm saying? We might need to stop all the damn marches and stuff like that. We may need to look at ourselves individually and say, how can I heal? What impacted my life? How did I get here? And then take that nuanced approach and then work on healing yourself from there. Collectively, we're not going to be able to heal because we are, as a group, have our own individual responses to trauma. And it's no blanket approach. There's no law that can be written. There's no prayer that can be had to heal everybody in the same way. So we all got to be personally responsible for healing our own traumas. And just because somebody is screaming out, yes, I'm in pain, I'm traumatized. And they do this by a number of different ways, through sexuality, through violence, through other aspects. Just because somebody's screaming out is not to say that they're wrong and we should ignore them and they should move on or they should just change their life. It's not that simple. It is that they need to look inward. They're screaming out for help. They're screaming out, you know what I'm saying? And maybe I don't have the answer. Maybe I can't help them. And so my goal is to find ways to help people or encourage them to find the resources to help them as a whole. I don't sit here on this call and profess to know all of the answers. I know what have worked for me. I know what have worked for many others. And I studied human behavior for over 2 decades. And I still study the human behavior, studied the human brain, what I'm saying, for 7 years. And I know that we want to take the path of least resistance. That's your brain's natural um, inclination. But we have to get over the pain and trauma by looking inward and fighting against that spirit of victimism and call it a victory. Peace.
Wow. It's official, y'all.
Education, correct. Proper education always correct error. So, like, I, when I went within myself, if you don't know who you are, then how could you know anything? That's the most powerful thing you can know is knowing yourself, the knowledge of who you are. Because the knowledge of who you are, once you find yourself, then you find all those attributes within yourself. You find love within yourself. You find truth within yourself. You find peace within yourself. And you free your mind. And once your mind free, then you're able to build, you're able to destroy those things that once existed within yourself, because everything is within self. Like the God said, good, bad, negative, positive, we got it all within self. So once you know how to balance that self out, then you will understand how to do things in orderly fashion. It's about being righteous. Good and bad exists, but we want to be righteous. We want to balance that out. That negative part has to balance out, so we'll be able to see, we'll be able to elaborate, we'll be able to be at peace with ourselves. Peace is the most powerful thing you can have within yourself, because the peace enables you to see everything that's around you and detect everything that's around you for what it is. And you gotta that term, it is what it is. Yeah, it literally is what it is. Because when you see what you know what you know, then you gotta build off what you know, what you see, the present moment. The now is only time that exists. So
Can't even make this
absolutely.
stuff up, y'all. It's official. Listen, there is no rights, there is no wrongs. Not in this conversation, because that's why we have these types of conversations and let the cat out the bag. Eat what you eat the meat, throw away the bone. But I tell you what, we just did. We officially just let the cat out the bag, and we did it with a dose of reality and the black messiah. And the cat's out the bag. Take the light, run with it, and do what you can with it, because we all have a responsibility to do this work.
peace. Peace.
In that order.
Thank you for sharing. As well. Thank y'all. I'm on a high again. The energy just built up. God, I gotta do something with it. Sitting here with all this energy, I gotta do something with it.
Well, what you can do is that energy and that wisdom you can always pour into somebody else. You can always pour into somebody else, or you could look at your action plan. Look at your. This is the time when you might need. Like I like to work out when I have my, a lot of energy. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I work out when I don't feel like working out. But if you have the mental fortitude and energy to look at your game plan, what are you doing? I tell some of my mentees every day, when you tell me what you want to do and accomplish in life, look at yourself every day and ask yourself, what did you do to get closer to those goals? What tangible thing did you do to get closer to the goal that you want to do? Some days you're not going to have the energy to do it all. And some days you have the energy of 4 or 5 people. Those are the days that you need to take advantage of and say, you know what? Let me go and knock this out. Let me go and do this. Let me go and do that. Let me get one step closer. Let me get one step closer to my goal. Some days I don't have the energy or the time to do certain things that I want to do. And then some days I look up like, oh, my schedule just cleared up. Let me go and take